guys, it's Izzy here. Welcome to 2024. It is New Year's Day when I'm filming this, so I am kind of dressed up. So I hope y'all had a happy new year, a safe holiday, happy, healthy, fun. Get that all out the way. But today we're going to be looking at every single book I read in 2023 and then looking at my stats as well. Let's get into it. First, we'll start with Goodreads, those stats. My shortest book of the year was Secrets of the Heart Meditations by, I learned how to say this, Kabil Gibran, which was a poetry collection that was a gift. And the longest book I read was The Fiery Cross by Diana Gabaldon, which was 1,456 pages in length. So the average book length in 2023 for me was 367 pages, which I think is the average length of a book. It's around 350 to 360. Now, the most shelved book that I read this year, so I kind of went with an old Hollywood look. I know my hair is not old Hollywood, I have long hair, but is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid, which over 5 million people have shelved. The least shelved book is The Man Who Swam with Beavers by Nancy Lord. This is a short story collection, and only 61 people have shelved that. And then my average rating for 2023 was 3.4. Now, mind you, this is on Goodreads where you can't do decimals, so we will find out the exact number when we look at StoryGraph. And my highest rated on Goodreads was The Love Songs of W.E.B. Du Bois by, I totally just said the wrong pronunciation, and it's my favorite book. But by Andre Fannin Jeffers, it has a 4.51 average. And then my first review of the year was Sapiens, A Brief History of Humankind by Yuval Noah Harari. Then we have Batman, one of the Batman comics. And if you guys want my thoughts on any of these books, you can check out my Goodreads. It's linked down below, and my other videos throughout the year. Lost Roses by Martha Hall Kelly. Mother Knows Best by Kira Peikoff, which I really enjoyed. I have a hard time with thrillers, but I really like that one. Electra by Jennifer Saint. One of the better Greek mythology retellings. Years by Laverne Spencer. Oh my gosh, one of my worst books of the year. I wanted it to end so bad. The Phlebotomist, that was a sci-fi. It was fine. Florida by Lauren Groff was my first 5-star of the year, and it was a short story collection. So this was the first time I ever gave a short story collection a 5-star, and I absolutely loved it, and she's one of my new favorite authors. Then I read Saga Volume 3. Then this is a poetry collection that is kind of special to me. At the time, I didn't know it would become special to me, but because San Francisco and Northern California is somewhere, it always is in my dreams. Don't know why. So if you're a dream analysis, let me know when a location or city keeps showing up in your dreams. But Stanyan Street and Other Sorrows by Rod McEwen. Sorry, the font is, I can't really read it. Okay, A Bend in the Stars by Rachel Barnenbaum. Then Dune, I DNF'd, but on Goodreads, I still have it counted because I read 70% of the book, and I might pick it back up this month. I don't know. Then Star Wars Path of Deceit by Tessa Gradden and Justina Ireland. I did not expect a lot from this book, but ended up loving it. Then The Poisoned Crown by Maurice Druin. That was continuing a series. Keeping with history, we have Henry IV Part 2 by Shakespeare. We have Get a Life, Chloe Brown by Talia Hibbert, 5 out of 5 stars. It's a romance. I loved it. The representation was fantastic. When I Sing Mountains Dance by Irene Sola, another new favorite author. I've read all her books that I can get my hands on because not all of them have been translated to English, but she'll come up again. And then Secrets of the Heart, Hood Feminism by Mickey Kendall, Hit 1955 by Bryce Carlson and Vanessa Del Rey. And then I give a thriller a 5-star, which is unbelievable because I only struggle with thrillers, but that was No Exit by Taylor Adams. I've since learned that they made an adaptation, but on Hulu, and I do not have Hulu, so don't do your adaptations on Hulu. The Little Friend by Donna Tartt. I've now read all of her books. I love this, just the innocence of childhood and the nostalgia of looking back at childhood. My Body by Emily Ratajkowski. Again, I loved it. It was so intelligent, and I was not really expecting it to be as good as it was. The Star Touch Queen by Roshani Chokshi. YA fantasy, not for me. One Italian Summer by Rebecca Searle. It was a good book, and my expectations were lower than like what I thought. Like, it was better than I thought it would be. Things We Never Got Over by Lucy Score, overrated. The Final Revival of Opal and Ebb by Donnie Walden, not for me. And then my second favorite book of the year, which these are all like sneak peeks on my next video, but Betty by Tiffany McDaniel, 5 out of 5, loved it, recommend it to a ton of people, but do look up the trigger warnings. Owen, book 1 of the Tudor trilogy by Tony Riches, just wasn't really for me. My Monticello by Jocelyn Nicole Johnson, it wasn't what I expected it to be. Liberty by Caitlin Greenidge, it was nothing like the summary, like why? Annihilation by Jeff Vandermeer, fine. A History of Wild Places by Shay Earnshaw, it needed to be edited better. War and Peace by Leo Tolstoy, what a time. Celtic Tales to get me through March, looking at my own ancestry there. And then Post Traumatic by Chantal V. Johnson. I usually love sad girl lit, but that one wasn't for me. Beast by Iron Solo was a poetry collection that I gave 4 stars. Again, really fell in love with her writing this year. And another one that I love, but is not a new favorite, is My Year of Rest and Relaxation by Otessa Moshfegh. I do intend to read more of her books next year. And then nonfiction, Astoria by Peter Stark. I learned a lot because I never knew any of that happened. Then Ken Follett, World Without End. This was better than the first book in the series. Taylor Jenkins Reid, Forever Interrupted. It was good. The chemistry was really good. Check Out 19. But I think I could enjoy it more on reread, so I didn't unhaul it. And when I did that, that meant it went over my head. And then Check Please, book 2, Sticks and Stones, cute. Breathless by Amy McCulloch. It took everything in me to get through that book. A Year in the South, 1865. Learned a lot once again. That book was a gift. The Stardust Thief by Chelsea Abdullah. Not for me. I just struggled with fantasy this year. Take a Hint, Danny Brown. Wasn't as good as the first, but I still loved it. How High We Go in the Dark by Sequoia Nagamatsu. Oh my gosh, such good themes. The Love Potion by Sandra Hill. Kind of out there romance. And then Love Pamela by Pamela Anderson. One of the most relatable books I've ever read. 5 out of 5. Best nonfiction of the year. Marvelous by Molly Greeley. Such a pretty cover. The Cage Maker by Nicole Seitz. This one was just hard to follow, but I like the idea of it. The Royal Succession by Maurice Druin, possibly the best book in the series. And then Goliath by Tochi Unobuchi. Again, not for me, but I do think other people might enjoy it. It just need more world building. Anna Karenina by Leo Tolstoy. Yeah, I really liked Anna Karenina. And After I Do by Taylor Jenkins Reid, I'm going to be honest, a lot of her romance books just run together for me. The Medici by Mary Hollandsworth, 4 out of 5. Just give me more nonfiction on the Medici, please. The Last Wish by Andres Sapkowski. Not for me. I struggled a lot with fantasy. The Call of the Winds by Jenny L. Walsh. Read it at the right time. Love when that happens. The Scarlet Pimpernel. This was a reread for me, and I felt about the same on reread, which it's a good book. Me by Elton John. He rambled quite a bit. A Man Called Ove by Frederick Bachman. I loved it. I loved my review that I wrote on it, and yes, that's all for that. American Dirt by Janine Cummings. This is a controversial one, but I don't think it needed to be as controversial as the people made it out to be. Mary Queen of Scots. Oh, I learned a ton about her, and I got to watch the movie with a friend. Heartstopper. It was literally everything you would expect it to be, so I don't get the hype. Beach Music, 5 out of 5. Great character work. Rough Draft by James W. Hall. Yeah, thriller. Beartown, this was a reread, and again, loved it on reread. When the Reckoning Comes by Latanya McQueen. Horror, and I don't know, this wasn't really for me. Ghost Written by David Mitchell. Not really what I expected it to be. It was really interesting to annotate. The Price Guide to the Occult. This is a fantasy I did love. This is more low fantasy in the real world, perfect witchy novel. Maybe in Another Life. I hated. One of my worst books of the year. I just hate the tropes. Interpreter of Maladies. Glad I read it, but I did end up unhauling because I don't see myself rereading. The Love Con by Ceresia Glass. I hate fake dating. White Fur by Jardine Libbard. I can't read the cursive. This I got on the clearance section at Barnes & Noble and surprisingly enjoyed it a lot. The Actual Star by Monica Byrne. Again, that's another one that needed more world building in my opinion. Accidental City by Lawrence N. Powell. It gave me what I needed to know, but a bit dense. Murder in Westminster, fine time. Us Against You by Frederick Bachman. This book made me scream, cry, everything, so emotional. 5 out of 5. Best book in the series so far because I still have the last book that I need to get to. Love, comment, subscribe. Why do I end up reading all these fake dating books? I don't know. One True Loves by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I honestly don't remember. Living on the Borderlines. I learned a lot about Native American culture. Then The Many Daughters of a Fong Moy by Jamie Ford. I did love this book, but I do think it could have been so much more. Now, I don't know what this one is. It's blank. So, I'm sorry for whatever book that is, but just know there was a book. And then Washington, A History of Our National City by Tom Lewis. This one was so weird. Like, the printing people messed it up. The Bloody Chambers by Angela Carter did not live up to the hype for me. The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. So I did not give this a 5 stars when I originally read it, but on reread, 5 out of 5, and I think it's her best book. Camp Zero by Michelle Min Sterling, like, kind of weird. Fur from the Madding Crowd, Thomas Hardy. I remember my time reading it, and it was a fine time, not his best work. Shadowboxing by Tony Birch. Great slice of life if you're into that. Play It As It Lays. How did I not give this a 5 star? It's kind of crazy because I loved it. Mary's World by Richard Nkote. It gave me exactly what I wanted. I wanted to learn what life was like for a white woman in that time. Evidence of the Affair. This was a novella in a very unique format, being all in letters. Delirium by Laura Restereau. Hated. Love Poems by June Jordan. Fine. Murder in the Bayou. That I think I had some controversial takes on. Cormac McCarthy by The Passenger, didn't like. Drums of Autumn. I love the slice of life that the Outlander books have. Leica, this one made me cry so much, so it got a 5 star. Daisy Jones of the Six stayed a 5 star. Babel, very disappointing in that one. The Sun King by Nancy Mitford. This was a great nonfiction, straight to the point, more nonfiction needs to be like it. Miracle Creek by Angie Kim made me think a lot, and for a thriller to do that, I really appreciate it. Then The Red Tent by Anita Diamant. I did not expect to love that book as much as I did. We're getting close to the end here. Of Blood and Bone by Nora Roberts. First book in the series was better. Malibu Rising, still a good book, but it's not my favorite Taylor Jenkins Reid anymore. Boyfriend Material, fake dating, not for me. Don't need to read any more of that. Acts of Desperation, I love the character study of that. The Man Who Swam with Beavers. I loved the idea of taking native myth and making like retellings of it. So Imperium by Robert Harris, least favorite book of the year. It went right over my head. Carrie Soto is Back by Taylor Jenkins Reid. It disappointed me. It wasn't a 5 star. Then Birdsongs Don't Lie by Gordon Lee Johnson. I loved to see what modern Native American life is like. And The Love Songs of W.E.B. Du Bois. Again, my favorite book of the year. Did you hear about Kitty Carr? Disappointment. I did not like the writing style. Hang the Moon by Jeanette Walls. Also very out there. Wasn't for me. Crossroads by Jonathan Franzen. This was another character study that I loved. Wayward by Amelia Hart. I loved the cottagecore like atmosphere. The Republic of East LA by Luis J. Rodriguez. This was very slice of life, but it started getting too repetitive for me. The Vaster Wilds by Lauren Groff. I love a survival story. I love seeing people out in the wilderness, so yes, I did love it. And then Still Life by Sarah Winman. Again, I did love the setting. I love the characters. They were so wholesome. The Iliad Crest, again, did not live up to the hype. The Secret Book of Flora Lee, the main character, made me so mad. Love Light Farms, fake dating, not for me. How do I end up with all these fake dating books? I don't know. Then The Long Prison Journey of Leslie Van Houten by Carleen Faith. Oh my gosh, it did a lot for me to see what somebody who's in such a big crime, to see what their life is like. And then my last book of the year was The Fiery Cross by Dana Gabaldon, same as the other Outlander book. I love the slice of life historical. Love that. Now let's look at StoryGraph for like the nitty gritty stats of the year. Here it said I read 124 books, but it doesn't count the DNF, so I read 125 books this year, and my goal was 107. That was 47,152 pages. And my 2 big moods or themes that I read this year were emotional and reflective. Now the pace, I mainly read medium pace books. That was 55% of what I read. Slow was 31% and fast was 14%. I really need to find some fast paced books. Then for page number, the majority were from 300 to 499 pages. Then 35% were less than 300 and 12% were over 500 pages. Fiction versus nonfiction, 15% of what I read was nonfiction when 85% was fiction. And then for genres, I'm just going to read my top 4, was historical, literary, contemporary, and romance. And I mainly read print format, with 78% being print, 16% being audio, and 6% digital. That's something I'm really focusing on changing next year, giving more of an equal amount to each format. So I read 36,677 pages and listened to 334.45 hours. Sorry about that. So I most read authors were Taylor Jenkins Reid, because I read all of her books, Frederick Backman, Lauren Groff, Maurice Druin, Iron Sola, Talia Hibbert, Leo Tolstoy, and Diana Gabaldon. All the books were in English because that's the only language I trust myself to read a novel in. So the number of books and pages, 124 books by this, and 47,152 pages. I wrote 121 reviews and an average rating of a 3.42 star. Let me know in the comments, how many books did y'all read in 2023? I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And as always, comment, rate, and subscribe. And don't forget to ring that notification bell to be notified when all my videos go live. And if you made it through this whole video, leave a clock emoji, because that's what New Year's is about, right? But I hope to see you guys in the next one. Bye!